Okay, hello everyone. I'm Phil here at Radio Control Headquarters. We just happened to receive our new Savage XL, which is a re-release from HPI. And we thought we'd show you some of the features and show you what it looks like. So, first time we've opened it, can cut a seal. Okay, good packaging.
I see it's got that orange and gray body on it.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah.
look at that thing.
So, pretty hefty. Nice. Wheelbase and size. Also included, it has what's called a roto start. Starting mechanism, so you don't have to be pulling a recoil.
How does that work?
And what it does, on the back of the motor, it will have a gear reduction box, and it will come with a drive shaft. This is essentially the power system. Takes a rechargeable battery, not included, but it takes a rechargeable battery, starter shaft, and I'll show you a little bit later where it just plugs into the back of the motor. All right, let's see what it looks like.
So it still has body clips.
Yes. It's not like some of the other manufacturers where they're going to kind of clip-on systems that don't require body clips. So, nice attractive Lexan body, orange and black, which seems to be a popular color with HPI nowadays. Okay, let's look under the hood. Okay, first of all, big block motor, 5.9 cc's, compared to the original, which has a 4.6 cc motor. So anyway, larger motor, a lot more torque, more horsepower. We're looking at hex 17 millimeter hex drive wheels right here.
What did they used to come with?
They used to come with 17 millimeter on the back, but the HPI had a special kind of like oversized washer. So this 17 millimeter nut may be more familiar to people nowadays because that's the more standard way of securing the wheels to the truck. So large 17 millimeter wheels. Transmission is a 3-speed with metal spur gear, aluminum clutch shoes, and then on this side you see tuned exhaust, aluminum exhaust pipe and header, pretty clean design.
I see it still uses that same frame that it's had for
Yes.
a long time.
What they did, they made an improvement from the original Savage. They made this one easier to work on. So essentially with the side X frame, they've made the transmission so it splits from a top and a bottom. So instead of removing the whole side plate, all you have to do is remove about 6 screws and you can pull the top of this transmission off, change the spur gear without removing a motor. It's just a lot more serviceable. This is the included starter shaft. Okay, starter shaft. It will insert through the rear of the truck and into the back of the motor. Just push a button and it'll turn it over. We will need to get a glow igniter and put a glow igniter on to heat the glow plug, but that's about it for that. Easy start.
Has HPI always used some sort of roto start, or was there ever a pull start on there?
I think from the original Savage, I believe on the Savage they have had the roto start assembly. Now for those who would like, I'm sure they have available a recoil assembly so that it would be a regular pull start. You wouldn't have to worry about always having a charged battery to power the roto start system.
So the roto start drive shaft, is it the hex version or the pin?
This one is the dog bone ended drive shaft. They've kind of gone away from the hex-shaped drive shaft, so I haven't seen many vehicles now with the hex shape.
Yeah, I know I have an older Savage and it's got the hex.
Yes. harder to find parts for or to get the new shaft. Okay, they will also include a bag with tools. There's a wrench, a glow plug wrench, wheel wrench, and I see some different body mount, and it looks like some extra rod ends and some shock spacers to control the height of the vehicle.
I do know that HPI offers multiple bodies available for it.
Yes, for the Savage XL, and there's still a good selection because this is a reissue of an older vehicle. So,
Do you know when the original one came out?
the original came out about 1999, 2000, and it was only a 3.5 cc motor.
So it's been out for
Savage
20 years.
21.
Okay.
Yes, it's been around for quite a while. All right, let's take a look at the radio. I'm sure it's 2.4 technology.
Packaged well.
Yes, well protected with bubble wrap. A nice 2.4 gigahertz radio system. It looks like obviously antenna-less, nothing to break off on the transmitter.
You know what kind of batteries it takes?
Let's find out what kind of batteries.
Yeah, it looks like AA's maybe.
Okay.
Okay, so 4 AA's.
Yep. All right.
How about the truck itself? What kind of battery does it take?
I'm sure, well, let's see, because every now and then they will put.
So it's got that little tab that you rotate,
Yes.
and then it pulls the radio tray off.
Okay.
So it needs a battery with
Yes.
a JST connector.
With our Savage, we will need to get a rechargeable receiver pack. This is a 5-cell, 6-volt nickel metal. That will power the receiver. We'll need a 7.2-volt Tamiya battery, Tamiya connected battery for the rotostart assembly, a glow igniter to heat the glow plug for starting, and 4 AA's for the transmitter. Then we're good to go. All right, back to the truck itself. Yes, I did mention maybe it does have a steel spur, so you won't have to worry about strip spur gears. It does have a 3-shoe aluminum clutch, so the clutch will be very durable and strong, especially for a vehicle this large. A dual disc brake system, so I know the Savages have pretty good brakes. Suspension, it does have hinge pins, and they're captured, so on each end they're held in by nylon pieces that are attached, so you don't have to mess with E-clips, and it's just much easier to work on.
Wasn't that like a notorious thing for Savages back when they first came out, that the hinge pins would come out?
Back in the day, you did have to worry about maybe hinge pins backing out. They would rarely completely fall off, but they would back out. Most people want to customize and personalize, so HPI has some options available. First one might be a wheelie bar, because on a high traction surface, it will have a tendency to wheelie because of the high torque on the motor. If you don't have enough traction, no, it probably won't wheelie. It'll just spin the tires. The shock absorbers, these are some of the best, smoothest in the industry. HPI has a great set of aluminum shocks. You can see how large they are, how long, big bore. They have gone away with the 2 shocks, the dual shocks at each corner, and they've figured that they can get by with just a heavier, large volume single shock at each corner.
I do know that the stock shocks that come on there are nylon.
Yes.
So those aluminum ones are probably not only beefier and stronger, but
Yes, they're much more durable, and they're actually even smoother. They also have the titanium nitride coated shock shaft, so that they will reduce abrasion scratches from grit and sand. They also will have a sway bar, because a lot of these large off-road monster trucks because of their high ride height, although this one's pretty low and stable, but the tendency to roll a lot. So sometimes some people would like, especially if they do a lot more on-road, they might prefer to put sway bars on to reduce the roll.
Have you ever owned a Savage yourself?
I actually have two Savages, one of the old ones, the originals, and there were a number of things I didn't like about it. It was kind of hard to work on. If you had any transmission work, you had to take this complete side frame off. Just to change the receiver battery, it was hard and kind of cumbersome. It would take 5 minutes to get this cover assembly off. They've addressed pretty much everything I didn't like about the original. They've addressed it with the Savage X. So this is a reissue of a truck that's been out a while. So
have you ever owned a Savage XL?
I have not owned a Savage XL, so it's beefier.
But you do own regular. You do own regular, and you've ran them and had a lot of fun with them.
I have had a ton of fun with my regular Savage, and let's do a size comparison right now.
Yeah, speaking of Savage,
here is the Savage X, not the XL. So you can see a size difference right there. See the body size? Essentially, almost the same thing, shorter wheelbase, narrower.
Oh, it's definitely narrower, yeah. You can see the...
Yeah. So you can see the width. Essentially the same from maybe the front to the back of the engine. Where they increase the length is engine to rear differential, and that's where the extra wheelbase is added. You can see there.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a bit wider, quite a bit larger. Yep.
Wow. So do you think that having a longer, wider vehicle would be easier to drive, or what would be?
I think it makes it a little more stable and primarily stability.
I mean, I know there are
extra width and even the wheelbase. Although it will make it look a little less prone to wheelie, but the larger Tokyo motor will actually compensate. So both wheelie.
I know that they're roughly around the same price point. So
yes.
What would be an advantage of me buying the XL over the X? I guess it's just stability. Plus the XL comes with the aluminum pipe.
Yes, with the pricing structure, it's almost a no-brainer because if you look here, the aluminum pipe is a big advantage. If you were to buy the pipe for this, I'm not sure of the price, but it'll probably be at least around $50 or more for this polished aluminum pipe compared to the stock plastic. And it's just a lot more attractive. Probably gives you a tiny bit more horsepower.
Yeah,
it might even be a little noisier.
You know, I definitely think that the longer and wider chassis would make it more stable, but then again, it's also a bigger car that you got to try to put in the trunk of your car. And
right, you can see the wheelbase difference. I've got the front wheels aligned, and that'll illustrate the wheelbase difference between XL and X. I'd say almost 2.5, almost 3 inches. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And that is, they have the same starter systems, so quite a bit more vehicle for the same, essentially the same price.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many X's they'll sell for pretty much the same money. The XL is available.
Yeah. Well, very cool. We just wanted to give you a first look. We're going to have both these on display, so you can come check them out.
HPI seems to be coming back, so maybe some more vehicles to come, but the tried and true Savage X and Savage XL.